Good afternoon, I'm Sharon Chang, and today on BizTech Conversations, I will be speaking to Vincent Kwo, President of the Malaysian Financial Planning Council. Welcome, Vincent, to our show.
Sharon. Thank you.
The Malaysian Financial Planning Council is now 16 years old and with about 12,000 members.
Yeah, I think the
roughly.
currently is that I think it was formed in 2004, and during that time is that previously is that Malaysia, if you want to be a qualified financial planner, then you have to seek for CFP exam, which is USP's exam. And during that time is that our Tan Sri Dr. Zaki, the governor of Negara, I felt that it's about time that Malaysia should have their own program, and it's a localized program. So the program was developed by the three basically industry: the Life Insurance Association of Malaysia, the Malaysian Institute of Insurance (MII), and NANDIFA, which is the National Association of Insurance Agents. So I think the three associations started to form this association, and since then, from 2004 until now, is that I think we have been expanding within Malaysia aggressively. I think currently we have 12,000 members, and roughly about 3,000 over are basically qualified RFP and SHRP members, and we have some associate, so affiliate member, and about 7,000 about student members.
So can you give us an overview of MFPC and its objective?
Actually, our business card here is that we always print our vision and mission in our business card, and our vision is to be the body represent financial planning and Sharia financial planning profession as well as financial service provider in the region, not just for Malaysia. So I think that's our vision that we want to move along the line, and we have 5 missions that we try to achieve. And the first mission is that we want to certify financial planner and uplift the professionalism. So professionalism is first thing that we want to achieve because we are the professional body. The second thing is that we want to really enhance the image of financial planning profession. So I think for the last few years, a lot of activity we have been conducting now is really upgrade the professionalism and the image of that profession. And third one is that we want to set the practice standard for financial planning. So basically you want all our financial planner to go through some practice standards. So there's a standard they have to follow in order when they give advice and so on. And the fourth area is that we want to provide self-regulation in the financial planning industry. So we have proper code of conduct and discipline committee. So we have a self-regulation regime that if something that our membership had done something not right, then there's a proper process for people to follow up on that. And the fifth one, we want to be a premium financial education provider. So I think although we have a US qualification called CFP, but we really want to promote our locally developed program called RFP and SHRP. So we want to be a premium financial education provider. And the last one is that which we add in recently is to really promote financial literacy to all Malaysians. So I think that's a objective that we have been working on, is really that we have an issue that literacy program, especially on financial literacy program in Malaysia, are still very, very low, and there's a lot of work that we need to do in that particular areas.
You have all these objectives. How much has it been achieved?
I'm just talking about a few areas that I think firstly is that we prepare this called the financial capability utilization of financial advisor in Malaysia. This is basically a research survey that we have done, and this is basically sponsored by a CMDF fund from the SC. And this is the second report that we just came out in a few months ago, and a month ago. And so we have a report from the 2016 to 2018, which we released in 2018, and this one 2019 to 2020 release. And basically here is look at the progress of financial planning in Malaysia, and we are basically monitor programs. And for this particular study, we work with our members and through the UPM, and we have this professor who conduct as our research head here. I think we basically focus on 4 key areas. I think we focus on the V40, the founder people, and we look at the university student, we look at corporations and the people as well as the people on the street. And we try to really measure the progress of financial planning and financial advisory in this area for the last few years, and we can see that things are slowly emerging. It's become more important, and become more important recently because of we have issue of COVID now, and a lot of people are facing a lot of issue on the financial management area. A lot of them started to be aware that they have not enough sufficient protection, financial protections like insurance and so on. At the same time, we started to see that at this current time is that there's a lot of so-called advisor in the market that encourage people to put money everywhere, and it also create a lot of issue whether they are really a legalized type of advisor and so on. So at the same time, a lot of people don't know how to handle the debt issue. The memorandum of this thing will be going to expire soon. So suddenly is that our professional in a way is like we have more and more attention from public and to basically seeking the proper advice. Where should they seek the proper protection?
Yeah,
where
maybe
should
we,
the proper
yeah.
investment and so on.
Maybe you can go back to that later. Because of COVID, right? How did the association or the council actually pivot? Normally, when someone seek financial advice or consultation would be physical, face-to-face. So how did you all manage during this MCO?
I think this industry is that obviously it's unprecedented because of all this MCO and all this. But then in the way that I think this generation is in a way quite lucky that at least now with the technology advances, now we have all this Zoom and all this Microsoft Team and so on. Is that a lot of advisors basically can, although they can't see face to face, but they can see face to face through technology and so on. So I think during this MCO 3-month MCO period is that what association, what we have done is that we want to make sure the proper information provided to our member, because a lot of basically is that we have a lot of public who try to seek advice from them, and there's so many information flow in the marketplace, and now, as you know, that during the MCO period is that the things are keep changing every day, so sometimes you're not sure what is the latest information. So I think through the Facebook and through all this area, we educate, we basically pass the right information from proper regulator, Bank Negara or SC or Ministry of Finance, so that our members are up to date, informed, so that they can give a proper advice to the public and so on.
I see. So what about the classes that you conduct? Were they like online classes?
I think that
all the classes were all halted during that time.
I think we halted for a while, but during that time is the most critical thing. What we do is really to pass information to our members to give a proper advice. But at the same time is that I think after the first 3-month MCO, then we have a CMCO and so on. And during that stage is really, we started to conduct our classes online, and in fact up to now I think we are still majority of classes is still online, so maybe 70 online, maybe about 20-30% can be really a face-to-face, because over here we have a training center down there and downstairs, and we also have a proper SOP that we need to comply. So in the past you can see a lot of people, now we can't really see so many people, and so majority are still online, that we do the proper training online and so on. So it's a new learning curve for our trainer also. But I think people are cope up well and all these things. And I think about a month or so ago, we organized the Islamic Finance Conference. We have this annual conference we organize and every year, and but it's the first time we organize online. And basically is that for this particular conference, in the past we had maybe about 250 people attended, physically, but through online we have maybe about 400 people attended online. So we started to see more and more of these people get used to these type of practices. I think during the last few months we organized so many webinars and all these things. And our webinar is basically to educate the public, and it's open up to not just our member, but public. And every webinar that we've gone through, whether it's focused on insurance, focused on investment, focused on debt management, or even talk about will writing, trust, and so on. I think we have so many participants because people are more free at home also. So every webinar we have maybe about 800 people to attend. So I think we can see that really more and more development in this particular area.
Okay, so financial services, they are all very heavily regulated, right? So what is the regulatory framework that actually governs the relationship between the Securities Commission, the Bank Negara, and also the Malaysian Financial Planning Council? So how do you work together?
Currently is that we are in a way, our qualifications basically recognized by both Bank Negara as well as Securities Commission. So is that if you want to be a financial planner under Securities Commission, which is the one that governs all the investment or unit trust industry and so on, then then you want to be a qualified financial planner, you need to be a member or registered financial planner or
Okay.
Sharia financial planner. But for those jurisdiction, I mean for those industry which is governed by Bank Negara, which is like insurance, then if you want to be a qualified financial advisor, you also need to have our qualification to be a registered financial planner or Sharia financial planner. So in a way that we are working with both regulatory body closely.
So how long actually to get the certification? How long do you need? How long is the course to be?
If you look at this, is that we have a 7 module, and we have a first module which is a fundamental financial planning. We give you the whole overall picture. Second module is very much to do with risk management and insurance planning, focusing on protection part. The third module that we have is investment planning, which is purely on the investment side in unit trust investment. The fourth module that we have is zakat and tax planning.
Okay.
And what we have is that because zakat and tax planning is another specialized area that how we should go about it. The fifth one is estate planning. That means the will and trust and so on. The sixth is retirement planning. How you can properly plan for retirement, and we have basically a standard for them to follow. And the last module we have is application of financial planning, which basically give overall features.
So to do all these modules, so normally how long would it take? Or can you actually separate the modules?
Yes,
like you choose which module you are interested in, or to specialize in? Or
if you
whatever?
want to be a qualified RFP or Sharia RFP, then you have to complete all the 7
you have to
modules.
complete the whole thing.
Yeah,
Yes.
so is that the other way is that for our associate members, some of them might be specialized in a few modules, module 1, 2, or 3,
Okay.
or module 1, 2, or 6, and all these things. So it's basically depends on where they want to develop and all these things. So for us as an association, what we try to do is really, we are not really require people to be qualified as a financial planner and so on, or financial advisor. But what we want is really focusing on the training, on the professionalism, to really upgrade the skill and the knowledge of this. And at the same time, is that we find that it's important for the industry, whether it's the insurance industry or unit trust industry, or even also industry, even talking about will writing industry, is that we want the agent to upgrade themselves to be a professional. So as a professional, they need to go through a proper code of conduct and so on, and there's a proper process they need to follow that, and that's why we try to encourage them to move along that line to be a professional.
You keep emphasizing on trust and on ethics because it actually plays a very important
Yes,
role,
yes,
right, in
yes,
financial
yes.
advisory.
Yes.
So actually, how does the council, right, uplift this professionalism and practicing standards?
I think one area is that although we are talking about knowledge base, that means you need to be
Yes.
educated and learn all these things. We have a CPD program that you have to really be upgrade yourself to the latest area. So we have CPD requirement for our members and so on. And one particular area that we feel that is very important is on the course of professionalism. And every year we will conduct a professionally course, and so we have basically re-emphasize to them
it's like a review.
and basically really like re-emphasize to them the important to be a professional, to differentiate themselves compared to the others, and because I think I always find that the what is advice and what is opinion.
Yes.
So you want to be giving proper advice, then you need to be a professional to give a proper advice, and anyone can give any opinion they want.
Yes,
But
true.
you want to give advice, you're subject to certain discipline. If you give a wrong advice, then you're subject to certain
Yes, of course.
there's a proper conduct issue that you have to comply also. So these are very important for that.
Okay, besides the Securities Commission and Bank Negara, who are your key stakeholders, and how do you actually collaborate with them?
Actually, is that if you look at our annual report, is that our chartered promoter, which is our Liang, and MII, our NAMLIFA, which is a National Association Life Insurance Agents and Advisor, and we are working closely with Association of Financial Planning, AFA, and we have this Malaysia Takaful Association, which is also a financial service provider, and basically is that we have this Chartered Financial Service Institute, which is basically the banks, the insurance company, the trust company, even the investment, the trust, the unit trust company, and at the same time we also have our so-called service firm, that the tax advisory company and so on. So actually our membership is quite a wide range, covering almost all aspects, But as far as regulation are concerned, regulatory environment concerned, basically we work with Negara and SC. These are the two main regulatory bodies.
Okay, so but how is the collaboration? How do you collaborate?
We work closely on different aspects of areas. Also, is that like we're talking about SC, for instance, that we just attended SC as a meeting recently, I think last week, and what we did is that we provide the view, because we also get a lot of sponsorship from the SC to help us to develop area, and we work closely with them on investment. SC have this investment type of program once a year, and they have this CMDF, which funded our research and funded our literacy program. And one particular area that we are also working with SC that we hope we can expand further is our life management system. Although we already moved step into life management system, but that's area that we need to invest further in life management system. And I think one area that we find that is that we have a very, very strong program, locally developed program, and globally recognized program, especially our Sharia RFP program. And for the 3 consecutive years, we just got the award last week for the Global Islamic Finance
congratulations.
Award, and for the best Sharia wealth management course. And it's a global program, and we find that it's a stage that we can really expand our program, not just within Malaysia, but also regionally as well as internationally. That's what we really want to focus on also. And I think it's in line with what the SC aspiration and so on. I think on this Negara side is that we work closely with the association, and we also working closely with Negara directly, especially in the area of financial literacy side. The currently is the government is really trying to promote financial literacy to the public, and that is basically under the jurisdiction of Negara, and we work closely with them. And the one area that we hope that we can expand further on the literacy side is that although we organize a lot of this public program, and we also organize a lot of this program to university, but we also want to work on the cooperation. So we started to work with a big company, because we find that financial planning and financial management is such an important part. Even within the own HR divisions, so we are training them to educate them. We work closely with Inland Revenue, and we work closely with EPF. I think that currently is that all the financial retirement planner in EPF are all trained by us. We work closely with AKPK, and all their trainers will go through our programs as well also, so that they can proper advise the customer and so on.
Vincent, there are similar organizations like MFPC, right, such as the Financial Planning Association of Malaysia. So what is the difference? What differentiates you from them?
Actually, when they started off, is that the FPAM is focused, started off the time is their exam they conduct is a CFP exam, which is a US CFP exam, and whereas our association is basically conduct our own internal exam, the local Malaysian exam, and so basically is that we work closely together to promote our financial planning within the Malaysia. So basically the moment is that the member of CFP, most of them are member of FPAM, and the RFP are member of MFPC. So they have you have 2 qualifications, like 2 different professional body,
So is it needed? Do you need 2 qualifications to?
You don't need to have 2. You don't need to be. You can be either CFP or RFP. So like I mentioned before, is that the reason that our RFP started off as sister from there is because that time our governor, Tan Sri Dr. Zeti, felt that it's a time that we need to have a local program, you know, and it's not necessary you have to sit for US exam and you have to pay US fees and all these, and you have to comply with US standard and all that sort of things, and we feel that we can develop equally well our own program. And you're talking about Sharia RFP, I mean our program already be able to recognize globally now, and also we find that if you look at our really the performance the last few years, I think our membership has increased tremendously, and I think a lot of activity we're working on, and especially we are working very, very closely with universities. Currently now we work with about 24 universities locally in Malaysia, and some students who are taking certain courses will go through, can be exempted from a few of these our module, so that there's a career that they can move in to be a financial advisor or financial planner in the future, or even they can be just for education purpose. They can be an insurance agent or unit trust agent or will writer and so on. But I think we have this comprehensive program to really guide the student to move along the career path, you know. So, and that's why if you look at our performance as MFPC, is that I think we feel that we have done quite a bit in the last few years, you know, and we have program globally recognized, you know, and although there's still a lot of work need to be done, you know, in this area.
Earlier you mentioned about asset allocation, right? I mean, many people actually put their money into properties, right? So from an industry body perspective, right, what would you recommend as an asset allocation strategy? How should they actually apportion their assets?
It all depends on we don't really go in and give a formula for people, for advisor what to do, you know. I think we have our 6 processes that they should do a proper financial advice and all these things, and obviously we look at protection. And you talk about investment also, is that I think the basic thing they really need to understand the individual client needs. What do they really need, you know? So is that whether they, you know, whether in a different age group, whether they are near to retirement or they are young and so
what
on.
Goals
you know,
they have,
what goal and what they try to achieve.
The
maybe they want to
aspirations
save for children education, or they want to save for long-term retirement and so on. So is that the basically I think they have to look at the different needs of individuals, which might be different, and single or married and so on. So they can give a holistic view and advise properly on what, you know. I think what our financial advisor, financial planner, I think our process is more for transparency. So we want to really our member to be transparent, so to really understand, and obviously is that they get a lot of personal data from the customer. You know, there's a confidentiality that is very, very important, you know, so that they are more like financial doctor to the individuals, you know. And in fact, if you look at in the US market, for instance, that financial planner, financial advisor is one of the best profession, you know, for people to move into that area. Is that
it's
because
like they are the navigator, you know,
they are
something
not
like that.
A doctor in that sense on the finance side, you know. So it's like when you're not well physically and all these things, then you go to talk to the doctor, or you have a personal doctor who can advise you, guide you, you know. So it's more like personal friends as a doctor. As a financial advisor, financial planner, and all these things, they are basically with you all the while, understand your finance, and they are not just one time. Basically, they go with you for years, you know, and because you go through different stages of life, and your financial situation keep changing all the time also. So the plan might be changing all the time. So it's like, you know, you need to consult a doctor. So I think that is a profession that this area is going through that, you know. And I think it would be very exciting career path for a lot of students that you know, young graduate that can move into this particular area. You know?
Like, I mean, goals change, right? I mean, aspiration also change. So how often should we review our asset portfolio? Yearly?
No, I think it's just no, I think it's just like you want to see a doctor, you want to have a yearly medical checkup and all these things, you know. But if you have a personal doctor, financial, and depend on your situation, you know, if situation change, then you might want to talk to them also, you know. I think that currently, just like with the COVID issue now, is that a lot of people who might face the situation will drastically change compared to a few months ago, and a lot of them just not very sure who should they talk to. You know, in the past they might talk to their banker and so on, and but now they need to talk to a more holistic view, not just on particular area, because sometimes you talk to your banker and all these things. In the past, when they might just give you some advice on wealth management, on investment and so on, but now it's that you have to look at different way. What should you do? How to restructure a loan, or what should you do with, and you might not be able to afford your insurance premium. What should you do, and so on. So you have to look at in totality. So it's a time that it's become more critical for them to really talk to the advisor or planner, and they are their financial doctor that to be there all the time.
So if I'm someone that's new, okay, I'm seeking I'm a first timer seeking financial advice. Who should I go to? Financial advisor or financial planner? So what's the difference?
Currently now is that the most of our members actually they have a tool. Is financial planner or financial advisor is just a licensing requirement because of the way that our regulatory body works. Is that so basically is that you have a capital market which is under the Securities Commissions and which take care of investment and so on, and then you have obviously the Negara, which under the Insurance Act, as well as Financial Service Act, which is taking care of insurance product. But a lot of our members, but in order for you to be a financial planner, financial advisor, you just need that qualification, RFP or SHAR RFP, so you can join either one. So for licensing, I think a lot of members are licensed for both. So they might need to get a financial planning license with SC, and they might get a financial advisor license with Negara. But then with the two license, they can give a more holistic view to really look at all aspects of financial planning also.
So could you share your perspective on, you have the fees based only, and also the commission based only. So if I'm someone that's seeking advice, should I go for a commission based or a fee based financial advisory?
I think it all depends on the situations also. Is that I think that although a lot of financial planner, financial advisors are moving slowly towards fees-based type of advice, partly because they give a holistic view. So is that so basically that they might give some sort of financial management advice on debt restructuring or whatever way. But then what we want our members to follow is more transparency, whether it's fees-based or commission-based.
Yeah, because there's always the perception of biasness, like commission-based, financial advisory.
I think it's not so much about biasness or what. I think it's more transparency. As long as you're transparent, so is that by giving proper advice, and proposal to the customer, you are basically taking some sort of responsibility also. So it's like you cannot be driven by incentive to really promote something, because then you are not really conduct professionally and all these things. So you have to give a proper advice and proper conduct and proper trust, and also. So to our members, I think we find that the transparency is more important to really disclose. More disclosure issues, and I don't think there's any reason why fees-based is better or commission-based is better or hybrid is better. So it's all depends on case-by-case basis. So certain type of advice they provided is that is more very basically. It's very holistic. Look at almost every aspect, and they might want to move towards a fees-based, and certain products very much on one particular area, which they might want to do more towards commission-based. So it depends on situations.
So what's the ratio like in Malaysia? I mean, do you
not very sure. I think it's that it's still it's all depends on situations, but as I say, is that MFPC, I think what we want to encourage our members is to upgrade their professionalism. It's not necessarily to be a qualified RFP or SHAR RFP to get the qualification financial planner, financial advisor. I know a lot of members are basically an insurance agent or unit trust agent or will writing agent or even tax advisor. and by understand the full picture of financial planning, and they can upgrade themselves also. But then in order for them to give holistic advice, they need to complete the qualification in order to get the RFP or short RFP.
Right. Okay. All right. Okay. So let us come to digitalization. Okay. I mean, digital financial services, for example, like robo-advisors, right? And also the comparison sites like iMoney, okay, have been actually gaining a lot of traction,
Yeah.
right? So how has this alternative delivery channels actually impacted the traditional advisory model?
I think is that obviously the robot advisor or product comparison, they are very much product specific type of things, so it's slightly different type of area. Is that they are just a tool to be used, but when you want to understand the individual client's need, you need to really understand what he really needs also. And then rather than you already know what you want, then you go to let's say like product comparison. I want to buy an insurance product, and I try to find a cheapest product or whatever, and you might not understand the full picture of what is they provided, because a lot of products are not really apple to apple comparisons. So it's not easy for a layman to really go into one robotic advice or comparison type of website and really try to find which is the best for them, so it's like you might buy the wrong products. I think one of area is that which we think that this technology or moving along this direction will be moving towards overselling, that the people might be overbuying something that not satisfy their own needs. So they might buy a product that show a nice benefit which they not really enjoy, they not really need it at all. You see, so I think that but it will still coexist in a certain way, so it's still, because a lot of time people want to really understand a bit about the industry, go into certain type of products, and they have this comparison website, they can compare rates for you. But I think the comparison website at the moment now is that other than you want to buy a very, very generic product like motor insurance that is cover almost the same thing, then you can really get a comparison to get the cheapest rate and so on. And but then when you really want to compare a more normal product, it's very difficult to compare because they are totally different, so it's not really something that is very easy for you to straight away buy online, without proper people to guide you through.
So can your members use this kind of platform to add on to
I think so. Is I think a lot of people is using that as the tools, and now rather than purely dependent on that particular area. So it's more like a tool to be used, and to complement what they actually properly advise the whole picture.
Okay, thank you for coming on our show, Vincent. We have been speaking to Vincent Kwo, President of the Malaysian Financial Planning Council. Check out this conversation on www.biztech.asia.